Hello, everybody. Welcome to tonight's webinar. My name is Claudia Eifert, and I very much welcome everybody from around the world. Great to have you here. We have a lot of people, new people from many parts. I see that from the names. They're very different from the different places, so it's great to have you here. We know, of course, all the team from Europe. Hello to you guys, United States and Latin America. Great to have you guys here, and of course some people down under. Fantastic to have you here at this very early time. As I always say, you guys get very early up. Really great to have you here, and we have of course all the people watching us live stream right now on YouTube, and on Facebook. Also very much a welcome to you to this presentation of Utopian Global. What we're going to do in the next few minutes is obviously going through the concept of Utopian Global, what Utopian Global is, then we're going to have some news and updates. We have our founder and CEO of Utopian Global on the call as well. So if you guys have some questions, we are happy and delighted to actually be able to answer them later on after this presentation. So this is just a short overview of what we really do at Utopian Global. So Bill, this is the CEO and founder. Bill, hello, how are you?
Well, good evening to you, Claudia. Welcome to everyone joining us from many parts of the world. I see, yes, we do have people from down under. It must be very early. Actually, it's probably just, it's very early in the morning. So welcome to you for joining us. I'll be here throughout the call, Claudia, and any questions, people can pose them to us at the end of the call. Or if you want any comment throughout the call, just let me know.
Thank you so much. So that's what we're going to do. So if you have any questions, please just type them in the panel there, and we will answer them if, of course, we can answer them. Otherwise, we have the support team answering them for you. So Utopian Global, the ecosystem, as you see, this beautiful background is actually Dubai, but Utopian Global is really a unique platform for physical precious metals. And yes, I did take my precious metals out today. Uniquely made precious metals. In fact, it has even my name on it. So, because I got the first one many years ago, 11. We also have here some really beautiful collectible coins. Here we have real silver here. So a unique platform for physical precious metals, income producing energy assets store, which is the latest edition. And what we are doing is we are basically the marketing platform for Store. Store is an equity token and a professional education system and affiliate marketing platform. So this is basically what we are. We have all this under our belt, and therefore we have customers from all over the world, which since many years, in fact 11, are actually buying those beautiful and collecting those beautiful precious metals here, and of course now are very interested in our new concept, our new product, a store which is income producing assets in the energy sector. Now Bill Rull, as you saw him just here, our founder, he's the director of Utopian Global. He started the company, and he's also a licensed precious metals trader in the DMCC in the UAE. That is why the picture and the image behind here, because he is licensed in the UAE for precious metals. The precious metals come from the most prestigious refinery in the world. That's Arco-Horias in Switzerland. It's only 5 refineries which actually do certify other refineries. That's why they call themselves LBMA referee refinery. Yeah, that's where our precious metals do actually come from. Now, the latest addition in our range of products is obviously Store. Store stands for Sustainable Technology and Resource Holdings. It is a separate company. It's not belonging to Utopian Global. It's a separate company, in fact, but we are the unique marketing arm for the company, and the company obviously deals in proven energy and mineral resource assets, and as it says here, giving investors flexibility and diversification while delivering solid returns with high growth potential. And you see there windmills in the back. You see the CEO of Store there at it's a gas exploration, where he's standing on, and so you see all the assets are basically in the energy sector, so investing in resources that actually power the world, and that is be done through the Store equity platform. And what Store is really doing is countering investing problems in resources. We have a rising global energy resource demand. I mean, the population is growing, as you know. We have all those countries, they build up their infrastructure. They need to build up their infrastructure, obviously, and that all requires more and more energy. And what Store really has done is sourcing institutional quality assets. Institutional quality assets means like really just big institutions usually have the access. But because of Utopian Global and Bill Rowell's unique relationship with Ryan Messer, because he had invested in a large energy fund with Ryan many, many years ago, so had I, he actually made that connection, and of course the Store concept was born because of his large experience of Ryan Messer in sourcing great energy assets. And he runs 2 public companies, so he's not a newbie. Ryan Messer runs 2 public companies, and this is his other company, Store now, where he actually, what we really do through the Utopian Global platform, through the promoting of its products and services, of course, the investors then can, of course, fund the different assets, meaning become a stakeholder. And of course, with that money, new assets are being purchased, which are institutional grade quality assets, and therefore removing middlemen and brokers layers, because we use the latest blockchain technology, the ERC-223, giving you direct ownership in producing assets. Who wouldn't like to have income producing assets? I know some people are involved in real estate, great for them, and some people are involved in other things. Well, what really Store is doing here, you are actually investing in assets, real assets in the energy sector. But the most important thing of that is obviously the management and advisory team behind, that you can trust them, that they have experience in what they do, that they have a long track record. Because when you, of course, put your money into something, you earned money, you want to, of course, know who do you put it in with. And so, of course, the best way was for Utopian Global to use that amazing relationship Bill had with Ryan, and of course share it with the team, with the members already who have already trust in us. And so the management and advisory team, Ryan Messer, Randall Addington, Philip Judge, and you will see some of them in future calls. You have seen already Ryan Messer, Randall Addington, at least the people who are a little bit longer on these calls. They have a lot of experience. Randall Addington is the co-owner of Store. He is the director of midstream, meaning all which has to do with transportation, blending of crude oil, etc. But we have a lot of different projects in Store. Store has a lot of different projects, and that's mineral recovery, and then alternative energy, etc. So you need to have, of course, different people in those different sectors, and they all play a huge role in the team and the management and advisory team of Store. But of course, one of the person who is really basically, that's why we are here today, is this person here on the right of your computer screen. That is Philip Judge. Philip Judge, obviously, he was the co-founder also of when Bill started all the concept 11 years ago with the gold. And he really introduced Bill to the world of precious metals, but also to energy. And hence the reason back then, many years ago, Bill actually went and invested with Ryan Messer and Philip Judge into the energy fund. Why? Well, because it was a great project and it was giving an amazing return. But of course, there's other people very much experts in the blockchain technology, the new technology, as well as mineral recovery, geologists, etc., etc. That's the management and advisory team. You can do your research on them if you wish, reading the white paper, but also, connecting with them or searching them, looking them up in LinkedIn, and you will see these are experts with many decades of experience in their field. Then, of course, you see here on the next screen, this was a trip we did recently, actually, in fact, last year. Why? Well, because just like build it back then when he invested a large sum into the energy fund. He wanted to actually see it. He wanted to stood on the ground where this oil was pumping. Well, some of the leaders decided to also come and actually go there and see, is this really the real deal? And this is the picture basically from that. I know next week I'm myself flying actually out to Texas as well, because next week is the huge milestone in store, because we, through the Utopian Global, through their network, what we have achieved is we have achieved to be able to purchase part of this amazing project, which I'm going to present you in the next second. And that's going to be happening, I believe, next week. It's fantastic that we have done this in such a short time, that we promote this product of Store. So you see, this is the particular asset which Store is be able partly to acquire, and that will be handed over next week. That is another picture image of that. And the acquisition strategy of Store, the income producing asset for Utopian Global, is certainly in 3 phases. So those 3 phases is the foundation on the near-term growth, the mid-term growth, and the long-term growth. The foundation in the near-term growth is such projects like the acquiry of that oil field, because it's already producing, meaning production is already there. It's producing something like 80 years. There's another 2 decades plus production in there, meaning it is returning you from day one. From day one, basically this asset or part of this asset will be taken over for Store. It will be producing. And that is very vital for the foundation. Why? Because then part of those of this money which is generating can be used to acquire more different assets. And of course, the sale of new tokens will also help to acquire more assets, because Store really represents different assets of different products. And that is, of course, in the midstream, in the sustainable services, in the mineral recovery, and so on. So there's so many different areas in the energy sector where you can go in and to really have a great portfolio, basically to have a really great acquisition strategy which is diverse and not just depend on one sector. Of course, this is the long-term growth for Store. So right now it is just looking at the foundation. We are very much in baby shoes. We are in the pre-sale. So that's why right now at the moment you can acquire Store at a discounted price. It's discounted at the moment, and this discount is going to go away. Bill has to tell us today when it's going to go away, if he knows when it's going to go away. I believe it's going to be this week or early next week, and then the discount will certainly go away, at least partly, and this is why, because we are acquiring that next asset, which is a producing property in Texas with 90 active wells, currently 90 active wells, and you see here those wells currently have an internal rate of revenue of 20% plus. But when we add value to that, meaning when we reinvest from the production, then we can actually extend that internal rate of revenue to 30 or even maybe 40%, as you heard Ryan on some of the calls. What it means is the value of the token will also increase. Why? Because the company value at such, Store at such, is increasing in value. Why? Because it's going to have this asset under its belt. And so basically, when you look at these assets, which of course Ryan gets so excited about, he's 7 years behind that asset, really tracing this asset, wanting to have it because it is such a great deal, because there's so much which is still to be discovered. So it is still basically undiscovered. There's so much potential when you add value to that it can increase the revenue for so much, because it is really owned by industry people, and some of them haven't really added value to it because they're up in their age, and of course it requires work to do so, doesn't it? And so some of that field will actually be sold, and that is why Store is actually buying that, but of course wants to add value, so it adds value to the token. Then, of course, the other projects which are there in the midstream, but also the high income producing project, which is the mineral recovery project in Peru. That is a huge 2 billion resource, and I believe Ryan and his of course team, Philip Judge and Anthony Slaughter, they are looking into two particularly assets in that field, which they would like to expand further, and of course, help the environment to cleaning up. And it's a project together with the government of Peru. This is a long-term project, so it's an amazing project, but it's long-term, but it has a huge internal rate of revenue. There is so much to do. It's gonna probably has work to do long beyond, Ryan always says, long beyond he's actually gone. So big is this project, high in the Andes in Peru, and it really can do a lot as well for the environment, because over there the environment has been pretty much destroyed. Yet there's of course so many minerals in that. So this is just a phase of store, and I don't want to bore you with that, because you can listen to Ryan's call as an expert call when he actually explains it very well. He has more knowledge certainly than me, and so I'm going to just give you a little bit of a rundown of store of the product in such, because that's what we probably speak most about. So very basic. In July 2018, the formation of Utopian Global Store was actually done, meaning that Utopian Global has the exclusive, selling rights for the store products. In October 2018, store natural resource expert management team was actually put in place. In November 2018, some of the team members visit the asset, as you saw on the picture. In November 17, finally, the store SAFT equity tokens were launched, meaning for of course, SAFT really means the tokens are not yet live on the blockchain, meaning that's a future agreement for future tokens, basically. And in January 14th, the white paper was finally deployed. So all those people who could get in from the November 17 had an amazing advantage, and that is, of course, getting in at the pre-seed, pre-sell price like nobody else. And so January 14th was the white paper deployed. March 6th, Ryan actually announced the first purchase of 2 small assets, and they were not planned, but because they were so great with a timeline of production of of 10 to 12 years, but they were small assets, very small, but yet they were so good with a 26% internal rate of revenue. That's basically cash flow coming in. It's there, it's already producing. So he purchased that from the funds raised, but again, of course, they were very, very small. And in April 19th, of course, Store then announced that it entered in a letter of law, so a future agreement, basically to buy the first major asset, which is now going to happen next week. And on April 24th, there was a board meeting which decided that because Ryan, in our first presentation, and Bill as well, we always talked about the quarterly distributions of the production of the assets once, of course, the assets are acquired. So there's no distribution if there's no assets. That's of course clear. So Store just started, but of course the small assets were so small that a Store decided to actually reinvest the whole amount, of course, which were tiny, because there was just a production from the 6th of March until the end of the March, because it's quarterly, so the quarter ended in March. And of course, the next quarter started in April, and only in the 17th of May, the asset in Texas, or part of that, will be acquired. The new white paper will be released as well, the new updated white paper, in a few days from now. I had the pleasure to read it already. And on the 2nd of May, finally, the smart contract, the Store equity token, went live on the Etherscan. So as you see this address down there in blue, it is live on the Etherscan. Well, now, of course, what is required is that everybody sets up a wallet, an Ethereum wallet, following the steps guided there by MetaMask. And let me just very quickly go to that before I go into the next thing here. So let me just show you quickly. Okay, let's just show quickly. So for all those people who have right now purchased store token, well, all what you have to do is basically go to MetaMask. You can watch the tutorial video, which is really great how it works. It's here, and basically just follow the steps. Get your Chrome extension or get your Brave browser, and all what you want to do is, again, watch that video and then set up your wallet. Set up your wallet, and then further instructions will come once the dashboard is actually there, so that you can then transfer these tokens to your wallet, to your newly set up wallet. So this is going to be instructional, so we're going to give you, of course, instructions for that to do so, because it's really important that you treat it very secure. You got to treat it like a bank. And you do not want to give anybody your keys to your bank, or your PIN codes, or your passphrases, etc. You really do not want to do that. That is very clear. So that's why you really have to be very, very careful with the instructions, you know, to follow them, and of course to not give them out. Now you see here on the next slide, of course, the target of store. The target of store, the ultimate target, as you see, it's a €10, and that is based on the valuation of the assets. So as more assets are being put on, are being purchased because of the, of course, of the tokens sold, and the more it is reinvested, partly reinvested from the returns. Ryan intends to partly reinvest, returning money from the returns, so that he can buy and add value to those different assets. And of course, based on that, we can eventually arrive to that price. Now, of course, then it depends on when we go to a listing of an exchange, which probably is going to go happening the next year, more likely. Maybe, maybe not. So we don't have yet exactly, because that's all depending on the fundraise. It's all, of course, depending on how fast we grow, because you got to have liquidity on an exchange. So you need to have buyers. You will probably have a lot of sellers at the beginning. It's normal, because they want to cash in, because they bought in maybe a 25-cent token price or 50-cent token price. They want to cash in on the multiple. But of course, the aim is here to and that's my aim, at least, is I want to get the distributions eventually, and I like to see my 20 or even more percentage distribution eventually, once store has enough assets under its belt. So it's an amazing project. You can enter, you know, different ways. You can become a customer, and this is you purchase your precious metals, you go to silver, especially in the US, because in the US you cannot buy store, or you just buy your store tokens as a customer. Or you decide to become an affiliate. You have Utopian Global enrollment packages. These are for affiliates, because as an affiliate you can actually promote the products and services and can get paid from the promotion. That is another income stream. In fact, it's 8 different ways in order to get paid there. And just contact anybody who send you actually to this presentation, so they can explain you those 8 different ways to get paid additionally. Now, in those enrolling package, so you have smaller packages, and then you have, of course, mid-range packages, and then you have high-range packages. The first smaller packages, the first free, they're really the 99, 170, 390. As you see here, they get, of course, the store tokens, they get the affiliate ecosystem where the coaching program is in there as well, and so they can purchase their gold or silver, they can sell it back, they have no storage fee for actually holding onto their gold or silver. That is a big deal. They have no sellback fee when they want to decide to sell back their gold or silver. That's a big deal. So the whole platform is basically covered in the membership. Yes, so when somebody buys a €99 package, that's the ecosystem of Utopian Global. 40% basically goes to store. 40% is allocated to the assets in the first free packages. Basic plus 170 members package, 40% of that is allocated to the asset. If you buy a 790 package, 48% is allocated to store. If you go into the higher packages, 1,500, 3,500, now you see in the 1,500, 49% is allocated to store, 60% is allocated to store if the 3,500 package. It also comes, all these packages come with a 1-month membership. It's already included. If you wish to stay active as a member in order to receive commissions, those 8 different ways for promoting, well, then you need to pay your 50 euro monthly, and in this 50 euro monthly you get your also store tokens, and if you're in the United States you get silver in that 50 euros. Now we go to the quantum packages, and they're really more focused for investors. So you see now the 9,000 euro package, actually 87% is allocated to store. In the 18,000, 90% is allocated to store, and in 100,000, 92% is allocated to store. In the quantum package, 250,000, 94% is allocated to store. And in the 1 million euro package, you see 97% of the funds are allocated to store. So this is really for, of course, more high net worth investors who would like to buy at the store tokens. And well, you can decide which packet you want to get in, or just become a customer. Again, importance noted, the store is not licensed for distribution in the United States, and as a result it may not be offered, sold or delivered there. Neither the present information material nor copies thereof shall be sent and taken to the United States of America or issued in the US or to any US person in terms of regulations of the United States Security Act of 1933 in the respective current version. And unless you fully understand and accept the nature of the potential risk inherent in the purchase of store tokens, as we always say, don't put basically, if you're outside the United States, and you can actually purchase store tokens, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Don't do silly decisions. If you wish to participate, put in what you can afford to lose, as we always say. Not that we want to lose your money, but that is just a wise decision always when it comes to that. And of course, if you wish to have more information, contact the person that invited you to the presentation, talk to them, get yourself educated, learn about it. Again, a new white paper comes out very soon. Follow us on social media, as well on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, and get the latest news, and Telegram as well, and get the latest news. And so with that, Bill, I'm at the end of the presentation. So thank you guys for listening to me. I hope I didn't bore you too much. And let me see if we do have some questions here from people which we can answer. Or maybe, Bill, you want to add something?
No, you covered the information correctly, Claudia, especially regarding the asset that's settling in the next 10 days, which is a milestone for all store owners, of course. Regarding the wallet, the Ether wallet, my Ether wallet, MEW, it's any Ether wallet could be used, but this is just part one. For people who don't have an Ether wallet, you need to register for an Ether wallet, as Claudia explained. You can do it on as she described, or you can also go to, if you Google it, you just go to My Ether Wallet and you register there as per the email instructions that were sent out to you. And then what's going to happen after that is there'll be a new dashboard deployed later in the month, where you'll actually register your Ether wallet in this particular dashboard for store, and that will allow the auditors therefore to be able to transfer the SAF store that you currently have into the real store on the blockchain, and that will happen by the end of this particular month. So there's still a lot of work to do. The auditors, I believe, are progressing well, but we need to get the dashboard deployed and checked off on the protocol to be able to accept your wallet, because we want to make sure that security is absolutely sealed tight. And then once that's done, it'll be an easy process for you to be able to transfer your, we'll transfer the SAF store to your registered Ether wallet, which is another major milestone. Next week, we're going to be in Houston. I'm heading to Dubai on Saturday. And then after some bank meetings, I'll be heading to Houston. I know Claudia's flying in. I think some other members have decided to come in as well. They wanted to view the asset, meet the team. I mean, people put money in this, so it's important to know what you put money in, to have the opportunity to go there, speak to the team firsthand, be able to see the assets, speak to maybe the geologists or engineers, this particular asset, it's fantastic. This is what I did back in 2004 when I first met Ryan. I invested $1 million Australian dollars, which is 860,000 American dollars at that time, a lot of money. So before I pushed any money to them, before I pushed 1 cent, I flew to America with Philip Judge, and I visited the asset, visited the team, and many of these team members that we're engaged with today with Store are actually team members that were back there in 2004. You know, the geologist Jay Stewart, in fact, he's a part owner of this particular asset as well. In fact, over 90% of the ownership of this particular asset is owned by industry professionals. So that says something. You're owning something, you actually own equity in an asset in a US company called Source Rock Energy Partners, a Texas company. You actually have ownership in that asset, which is going to be developed even further. Increase the income, increase the token value, and as Claudia said, the game plan is to really get 5x, 4 or 5x on the price before we deploy it to the actual exchange. And most importantly, of course, when it goes to the exchange, you have to be able to justify that price. It's really important, and this is the wonderful thing about us. If you look at most ICOs that went to marketplace, they promoted the coin price here, then they said it was going to go to there. What balance sheet did they have? What justification did they have to increase the price token? What was the underlying asset? Was it tangible? Was it income producing? Or was it just a fantastic idea? Now, some of these ideas are absolutely fantastic, no question, but none of them have generated a cent of profit. Sorry, I shouldn't say none of them. I would say most have not generated particular profit. Here, with our particular assets, you're going to have a balance sheet, real tangible value, which is going to underpin the asset, the actual token value. That's a real investment managed by a real team. So while we're actually in Houston next week, we intend to do some interviews. I'm sure the members there, including Claudia, are going to be in our face and directly in front of Ryan, and of course Randall will be there as well. We're going to do some video work. You can ask any questions that you may want to ask regarding the distribution, what's going to happen at this site, what is the plan, what's the short-term plan, what can we expect, what's the long-term plan. All these are very important things. But the great thing is, you know, it doesn't matter if you've come in with a €99 package, or you've come in with a €500,000 package or a €1 million package. The store that the €99 package person owns is the same store that the quantum package owner has. That's a pretty exciting thing. So the more quantum packages we sell, it actually it builds up equity in the asset. So it's fantastic adding value. It does all our members. It's actually fantastic for all our members. If you just imagine a lot of money coming in at the higher end packages versus the lower end packages, it raises the equity in the asset, which of course is great for the actual the return on that particular asset. You know, so that's a bit of an update. So right now, the next really the next 20 days is really just about 25 days is really just finishing off the whole process with the store dashboard, so that you can insert your new Ethereum wallet. If you've already got an Ethereum wallet, you can actually use that one too. It's no problem, but you just have to wait now until the auditor and of course that dashboard's deployed, and then you can actually enter your Ether wallet in there and make sure. I mean, it's very important. You cannot make any mistakes when it comes to your Ether wallet. You must 100% own that particular wallet. If you make an error on it and things are pushed there, in one sense, you know, especially when it comes to payments in the future, we can't get that back. The great thing about our system is, because we're fully regulated in the Cayman Islands on the blockchain, but we're also part centralized on the Utopian Global, because everyone's got to be KYC approved. And even in the future, when people are on the exchange, the way the contract's being coded, we know who owns the tokens. So if something was to happen, like historically, the blockchain is ingenious. But where things have been let down over the years, of course, as most people know, is on wallets. Wallets have been hacked or this or that, or people made mistakes. Well, the good thing is we're going to know, of course, who owns those particular tokens. So even if something happened on a particular wallet, we believe we'll have a backup system there for you. And the other reason why we did that is not just that we wanted to have the contract built that way, but it also gives us more flexibility when we move to plan B, which is really, we want to, first of all, right now, we want to add massive value to the particular assets. We want to increase the revenues. by accessing some of the projects that have not been accessed over the last years, have been waiting there to be done. We might even take it to the NASDAQ or Toronto Exchange, one of the major exchanges in the world. Maybe it's more lucrative to do that, but it's too premature to make those decisions now. Given the world geopolitical stage, we don't know which way to go is best. So when we get closer, it certainly will not be this year. That's absolutely guaranteed. I mean, we're already halfway through the year, so let's get that off the table. I mean, we haven't even bought the asset yet. We only settle in 2 weeks' time. So there's a lot of work to be done there. So I look forward to meeting the members who are coming to Houston to ask us direct questions, because I understand you've put money into this, you put trust into this, and given past ICOs and things in the marketplace, some of you are probably nervous. Well, we try and close that gap. Myself in particular, I know Ryan and Randall, we have a lot of money invested in this particular asset because we just love this particular asset. I know Ryan's been watching this, I think Claudia mentioned, for 7 years. Now, why would he be watching this asset for 7 years? Well, when he was running a public company, this asset came onto the marketplace. Now, a lot of these assets, when they come onto the market, they come onto the market within the industry professionals. Okay, it's a bit like when I was in the hotel industry. They would say that hotel such and such coming onto the market, and then if it was a good hotel, it wouldn't even hit the public domain. It would actually be gone before it hit the public domain. Okay, that was what I used to do. I used to buy hotels that were run down and turn them around. Which was a major project. Well, really, this is what we're doing here. We have a solid asset owned by professionals, and the phase one, of course, is to be able to, of course, add great value to this particular asset. So it's going to be great to be able to share this information with members who are attending.
Thank you, Bill. That's really great information. So to finish up the webinar, because I don't see so much questions anymore coming here, we have one just to say hello from James Liu in Singapore. He's saying hello to you, Bill. It's 4 a.m. for his time, or 4:30, something like that. Great that he's on. And he's on like every webinar. It's just amazing. Fantastic, James. But just basically for the listeners, or for, of course, the people who have already owned some store tokens, so just be patient until the dashboard is developed, so that you then can securely transfer your tokens. It is going to come to information out very soon. So with that, I want to just say thank you to all your listeners, and all the listeners, of course, on YouTube, on Facebook Live. Great to have you all here. Share the message. This is an amazing concept. As you see, this is really the real deal. Equity token, but the whole concept of Utopian Global, it's really the ecosystem of Utopian Global, which really can help you change your life. Why? Well, because again, you have real gold, real silver. I mean, I'm just have to show you this coin again. I don't know if you see it. Isn't that beautiful? That is silver. It's a 3-ounce coin. I love it. I have it since a long time. Actually, when you have it like this, it's really heavy, as you see the noise it makes. We have real gold. That was done, I believe, for the daughter of Martin Luther King's foundation, something.
Granddaughter.
So
for the church, actually, to be specific there, so we don't duplicate fake news. It was actually done for a large church organization, a wonderful group in the US, and they believed in the principles of Joseph from the Old Testament, where, of course, you want to be able to become savers, and based on the Pharaoh and Joseph. So that's why we did that pure 99.9 gold range for them, and it was actually the church that commissioned that. It was actually done through the granddaughter of Martin Luther King, and they wanted to encourage their members, their congregation, to become savers, because most people during prosperous times do not save. They become like what we call locusts, isn't it? Locusts, I should say. They consume everything in its path, and there's no reserves there for winter periods. Well, really, that's really the metaphor. That's why we called the company back at 10, 11 years ago Joseph Wealth Systems. We wanted people to think about the mentality about a storehouse of wealth. And that's really why they commissioned that particular coin. And actually, the image on the coin was the design that we had done. It's an image of the Pharaoh and Joseph as really to remind people to have some savings. It's a good thing, especially when you're saving gold and silver.
And that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and I know we're going to Argentina. Is that right, Claudia? I mean, sometimes I can't keep track of these travels, but there's a beautiful country. I've never been there. No, you've been there on stage with Bob Proctor, actually, Claudia, many years ago. But there's a wonderful country. Last year they experienced 47% inflation. Now, if you come from the Western world like me, I can't really comprehend 47% inflation. But it'd be like buying, you know, you buy a copy of something today, and tomorrow or the next couple of days it's just increasing in price. In fact, half of your labor, if you work 47, 48 weeks in a particular year of 2018, half of that labor is being wasted due to the effects of inflation. That means your currency at the end of 1 year is buying already half than what it did 12 months before. You lost 50% of your purchasing power. I mean, that is slavery. Okay, actually all currencies do that. It's all designed to transfer wealth back to the central banking system. At 47%, I mean, that's killer. And of course you have places like Venezuela, God bless them, all there. You have millions of percent, but this is not new. This is, I mean, you go through all Eastern Europe historically in the 1990s. You go through, of course, Asia. You know it yourself, Claudia, you travel for many years. In fact, on the monetary system, there is not one paper currency that has not failed historically. There's been probably over 3,000 paper currencies, and eventually they all fail if they're not backed by gold or silver. Maybe they're going to be backed by a crypto in the future. Maybe it's going to be Bitcoin. Who knows? But they're not backed by a tangible asset, something of value. They eventually fail, and this is what happens. So that's really why we started the whole concept of Joseph Wells Systems, which became, of course, Swiss Gold Global. And now we offer, of course, much more than just gold. Now we of course, the purpose of Utopian Global. So that's a little bit of history for people who've been on this call. And James Liu in Singapore. James, you know what? I've got to go to Australia in July. Maybe I haven't been to Singapore for a long time. Maybe I should fly by Singapore for once and maybe call in and see you and some people. That'd be nice. But maybe we chat about that. There's still a lot of travels to be done, a lot of work to be done between now and July, of course.
Wonderful. Well, thank you again, and thank you all of the listeners. And I see you on next week's webinar. This week's webinar on Saturday, all of you. And there's a lot of other affiliates which do their hangouts and their Zoom calls, live calls on Facebook. So plug in wherever you can plug in and learn about this really great opportunity and share it with your friends. With that, thank you so much and have a good evening, everybody.
Thank you.